What's going on, guys? Zane here from Everything Vive. I want to welcome you back for the show. I am here with Ronnie. Ronnie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. It's been a while since we talked about VR, but there is a reason we are posting today or recording today, and that's because Sprint Vector is out. And we had a chance to try this game out. It is out today. Well, the day we're recording this is February 8th, right? Yeah, February 8th, 2018 on a Thursday. And we just wanted to give our initial reactions. We love Survios. That they are the creators of Raw Data. So this is, I believe, their second release, or at least second VR focused release. And so, this is kind of be just like an ad hoc episode where we kind of go into it. And then, like I was talking with Ronnie beforehand, we're going to try to figure out a new format moving forward, but we'll discuss that in the next episode and hopefully have Damon on for that as well. But Ronnie, man, let's jump into Sprint Vector. What were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were extremely positive. So I'm sure for a lot of our listeners out there that have been following us for a while, we had interviewed Survios back in the I don't remember how many months ago it was, but they had already been working on Sprint Vector for a while back then.
Yeah.
And we had gotten a chance to play an early release or like an early
beta
version
or something of it.
Yeah. And I mean that was a lot of fun and really impressive. In and of itself. So I already had some expectations, just about what the gameplay was going to be like and all of that. But man, as soon as I launched the release version that just came out today in Steam, I was immediately struck by just how down pat Survios has gotten as far as like developing VR software. I mean, just right away. Anything that you would have questions about, as far as interface and as far as controls and how the game works, like they just very, very elegantly brought the players into the fold, teaching them how to play Sprint Vector. I mean, little touches when you launch the game up, you're able to skip menus using the trigger. There's great graphics to show you kind of what buttons you're supposed to press when, and then immediately. Very intuitive on-screen guides to calibrate your height and then to kind of show you the basic movements of the game. And just everything was done. I'll say it. I mean, I haven't played a game yet that has as much polish as far as menus and tutorials and all of the introductory stuff is concerned. I mean, what were your impressions when you first tried it?
So my impressions were... Well, just right out of the box, it's fantastic. And going back, I want to say it was spring of last year. We were we spoke with Nathan Burba from Survios, and like you said, we got to try maybe a beta version of it. And in there, it was like one small level that you could kind of go through, which was fun in and of itself. So I was excited about the concept of the game because at that time, it was new. I mean, Survios was excited about it, and it was a different approach to eSports and just this type of way to use VR. And so now, what is this? Almost a year later or 9 months later, it's exactly what you said with them having a great amount of polish, a great amount of just everything. Like as soon as I loaded up the game, it's like, here's how you calibrate, and they give you a nice little on-screen thing to do. And then when you I did the tutorial first, and it's just it walks you through the tutorial. It puts there's a big screen where you can see what they want you to do. They're demonstrating. It's almost like watching a big screen television where they have.
And it was really clear.
Yeah, it was really clear. It looked and felt great. And the thing is, so they'll show you, or they'll tell you how to do something. They'll show someone on screen, and then around you, because they have you stand in a certain spot or a specific spot, and then they'll have these little bubbles pop up where you're supposed to put your hand, where you're supposed to pull it to, and it was very intuitive. It showed you everything. And the thing is, even for someone like myself who had played before, it was nice to be able to go through and say or see exactly, what needed to be done, get a reminder of how gameplay was, but just keeping in mind how it would feel for newcomers. I just felt like this would be great. And then going
and I was just going to say, I mean, for people that haven't gotten a chance to play it or seen anything, I mean, you mentioned the word esport before. When you were describing it, I mean, basically, Sprint Vector is almost like it's like a racing game where you're using momentum in your arm movements to basically get yourself around a level, almost like a skier, right?
Yeah,
So
it's like ski racing, but like in VR with. I mean, yeah, it's just
yeah,
I don't
it's
know how to
hard to
describe
explain
it.
because there's a lot of really cool movement mechanics built into the game. I mean, like
You're not actually
the
skiing.
most
It's like an urban landscape. Well, they have different levels, but it's just you're kind of going through like a level. It reminds me of like those old like racing games, not like NASCAR, Need for Speed, but like remember like F-Zero X or
yeah,
Mario Kart.
yeah,
Like the levels like the levels aren't as like they're not cheesy like Mario Kart, but they have like a certain aesthetic that's not like your normal like oh, I'm skiing down a
yeah.
mountain, right? Like you're
No,
racing through this
I
place with
agree.
obstacles and such.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's kind of like a mix of those two things because there are power ups and there's like, but yeah, the levels are very well crafted and kind of designed for multiple players in mind. And then yeah, the skiing analogy comes from just the fact that you're kind of moving your arms back and
Yeah,
forth, but
yeah.
it's not really skiing because it's all arm movements
Yeah,
and
so that's the other thing that stuck out to me. This game gets tiring and tiring fast because you're just like you're almost like running in place. I mean, obviously without moving your legs, but when you're going back and forth and just like it really like gives you that feeling of like running. I don't know. I mean, I just felt that I was a little bit out of breath and a little bit out of, not out of sorts. It was just, I'm not trying to say I'm out of shape playing video games, but my whole point was that like, it's really incredible how much like they get you in the game. Like your adrenaline is up, you're moving around as much as you can. And yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with that. And I think it's going to be one of those things where, I mean, if you're looking to get in shape, if you're looking to get into VR shape, this will definitely help you do that.
yeah, no, I totally agree. I was getting tired too, and I mean, yeah, but it was a good kind of tired because there aren't a whole lot of games that really, from beginning. Like I like the fact that it's a single race because you can kind of put all your effort in, try to win, and then at the end, kind of take a break until you move on to the next match.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'm really impressed with it. I'm excited to go a little bit further in. This is
Yeah,
more so
I
just
haven't.
our initial thoughts. But what I'm excited about is what we were talking about before we hit record, and that was setting up some multiplayer play sessions because I think you can have like what up
Hmm.
to 8 people is what I raced with in my
Yeah.
race. And granted, that was
Yep.
just like the single player thing, but it's just like, I mean. I've only started slowly discovering the world of esports, and I feel like this is gonna be a game where, like,
There's a lot of nuance in it.
yeah,
Like
there can be for those like really skilled players, or if you're a novice, like you can just jump in and kind of enjoy like go for like a leisurely ski, for lack of better words, but. For the like, there's definitely going to be like strategies, different things that you can do, and I'm sure as we like uncover and dig deeper into what else the game has to offer,
Yep.
yeah, like you had the perfect word for it. There's a lot of nuances that will make or break people's experiences in terms of like the esports and getting really competitive with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, like a game like Mario Kart or F-Zero, for example. I mean, yeah, there's definitely skill there. You know, even without kind of the VR twist on games like those. But the reason this game, I think, has the potential to get really, for people that really want to get deep into it, to really get good, is the fact that there's so many different kinds of mechanics, and you have a lot of those mechanics are pretty analog, and by that I mean like it's not just a one button press thing to move from right to left or this or that. Like a lot of it is how long is each of your strokes in moving your arms? Like where do you want to jump on the map to get going in the air? Once you're in the air, exactly what kind of path do you want to fly? And you're able to kind of move your player character from side to side by turning. So even there, like you're basically able to find like the perfect line and how you want to cross the map. And it's like all of those little things, how you jump, everything adds up to getting to that final score. And I just feel like you said, like it's easy enough for novice players to get in, and part of the reason it is easy is because Survios did such a great job with teaching players how to play it once you get in. But it's all of those little things where I can see if people really want to get into this game, they're going to be able to do that. And I mean, I've only scratched the surface. I played, there's several levels of tutorials, so I played through most of those, and then I played a few races just with me and AI bots. But just looking through it, I mean, it looks like they've really packed in quite a bit of features. So I could see this game really having a lot of legs, kind of similar to Raw Data in that, you have single player, you have multiplayer, and they really, I think, paid attention to details in terms of giving you options and giving you a lot of things to do. So,
yeah, no, I agree, so we're working right now on getting someone from Survios on. We're just trying to lock down a day to have someone on to talk a little bit more about the game. So we're excited about that conversation. And one of the things that I'm excited to ask is, how did this concept come about? I think we went into a little bit with Nathan, but now that it's fully fleshed out, I'm curious to see how the concept came about and what some of the challenges were between doing like Raw Data and this, because both of them are excellent games in very different genres of types of games. So I think that'll be a fascinating conversation. I'm hoping we can lock something down by the end of the month.
And part of what's so interesting about it is you can kind of see some of the Raw Data DNA in this game. Like you can, like the way they model, like your character arms and the way the menus work and all of that. It's like a more refined approach to those same type of, like it feels like it, but then it feels better. And a lot of things are done even like it's just really interesting. Like I said, I mean, first impressions. That's what this video. I mean, that's what this podcast, today is all about. I can say is like my first impressions were very, very strong. I mean, just right out the gate, I was like, okay, this is like another level type of game. I mean, similar to the Lab and other games that came before it, where you can tell they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that goes without saying. Like when it just Survios in general has been really impressive in what they've put out, and this is not trying to pat everyone on the back too much. I honestly mean that. They've put out 2 quality releases, and I'm thoroughly impressed with what they have here, and I'm excited to dig into it more. One of the things that I really wanted to touch on too was that main screen. Like when you first load up the game, and like it's first showing you and you go into like this like gigantic arena, and there's like people around you. I know we've talked about it so much in other games before, but it was like once again in VR, I had that like sense of presence, like damn, like this is like I was looking around like this gigantic arena.
And there were a couple of times in leading up to that area where they taught you some basic movements to get up to the arena, where I was like, oh, I'm really high up. Like and I hadn't gotten that feeling in a while. So
it was just I don't know. Like I said, it was awesome, right? Like I don't know how else. It was just a really cool feeling, and like I said, VR gives me that all the time, and this is why I love it, and this is why we have this podcast just to talk about it, because that's just what VR is. But there's always going to be specific times, and I feel like that was another one when I went in and I was just like, damn, this is awesome. I was like looking around the entire area. You could see like, it felt like I was in one of those like futuristic like game shows or something.
Yeah. This game's also a really good example of a graphic style that really, really works well in this medium, because I feel like it kind of has like a pseudo cartoon, like cell shaded look to some of it, but at the same, like it's not too much in that direction. It's not too realistic. I
picked the character who's a shark, so it's definitely
fair enough.
I mean, they take some creative liberty with it, which I'm totally fine with, because the characters look so detailed and are so well done. And I think that can go back to Raw Data, but now with release 2.0, it's just improving even more on it, in my opinion.
But like I mean, a game like this, exactly like even Raw Data. But I mean, this game. I mean, immediately you look at a game like this, and it's using the Unreal Engine, which is, I guess, the same foundation that Fallout 4 VR technically has, as well as a lot of other games. But just this game technically seems to work so much better in VR for me, anyways, than some of the more traditional games like Doom or Fallout.
Ooh, those might be
And it,
fighting words for some people.
yeah, but I mean, to me, it seems to just work better in the medium, and I kind of give kudos to Survios for developing a game from top to bottom that's just made for VR and made for the Vive.
Exactly. So, well, let's. We said we wanted to keep this kind of short and give our initial reactions. Ronnie, you and I will stay in touch. We'll get Damon in. We'll do some multiplayer sessions and post those up on YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah, man. Any other thoughts on it?
No, not really. Just excited to play more and excited to try to get as much time into the game as possible before you and I, and hopefully Damon get to talk to someone over there at Survios about the game.
Yep, me too. So, folks, there will be a corresponding YouTube video that hopefully we'll be able to load up with this. So, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, definitely reach out to us. Sorry, I should probably clarify. This is a reminder. We're trying to get, or we're working on getting someone from Survios on the show. We're just trying to lock down a date at this point. But if you have any questions you'd like us to ask, comments, whatever that you want us to pass on, definitely let us know. We're, like I said, I'm excited about that interview because I feel like there's so much more we can expand on now after seeing raw data and the full release version of Sprint Vector. So if you have any thoughts, let us know. Any questions you'd like to ask, definitely let us know. And that'll be on YouTube. Or if you want, shoot us a message on old school email. It's contact@everythingvive.com. But until then, Ronnie, man, take care. And we will catch you guys all again very, very soon.